Hello and welcome. Now today, behind me is this 2000 Nissan Xterra, and today we're going to be changing the upstream O2 sensors. Now, these are the sensors I'm using, so let's get to work. So, here it is, V6, and the two upstream sensors. One is here, so you can see right there, that's an easy one to get to. And it is the part number with the shortest cord that I'll show you here in a minute. And you have the other one, which is right back there, and it loops around all the way to here. If you can see, I'll jiggle this and it'll focus. Yep. So, let's start with that one. Now this one is a 13420 short cord. And this one is a pretty simple one. You can get to it extremely easy. Now the engine is still a little bit warm. You're not going to want to do this really when it's hot, but usually when it's warm, sometimes the O2 sensors come out a lot easier. First thing, we're going to come over here and unplug the sensor. You're going to want to push down there and pull that sensor out. Just like that. Now, because it is kind of a funny angle, what I'm going to do is go right here. Drop it right down there. Now you can see where my extension is. What I'm going to do, and grab another extension, and now I'll be able to break it loose. Now that one wasn't too bad. I'm going to kind of hold the wiring up here out of the way so I can get that a lot easier. That one's out of the way. Got the new one, and it should have this special anti-seize compound on it. If yours doesn't have it, make sure it's in the box and apply it. Reach down here and just get it going by hand. And snug it down by hand. Once it's snug by hand, drop the socket just like I did the first time. And snug it down, making sure not to over tighten. I went about quarter to half turn. Now all I have to do is simply just plug the harness back in. Now, for the other side, I'm going to go ahead and unplug it now. Get that out of my way. And I'm going to fish this around. Make sure it don't get hung up on anything so I can pull it out on the other side. Pull all the way up here out of my way. That way when I turn the O2 sensor, this is not snagging and catching down there. Okay, now becomes a fun part. But I do notice that this one is already loose. When I pulled the harness up, I could actually see it wiggling around. I'm going to try to do this one-handed holding the camera. And I'm going to get the harness out of the way so that I can drop it right onto it. And you can see I'm already starting to pull the wiring because I'm actually loosening it. It wasn't actually very tight, but there's actually a little bit of room here, so if you got a little extension, you can break it loose. But that is, yeah, this right here is the wiring harness. Luckily we're not reusing the old one, so you could probably cut it off if it gets too much in your way and not even worry about it. Now for the alternative method, if you can't do it that way, is this O2 socket. See, it's a little bit different because what you can do, you can drop this down on it, take a couple extensions, and you see it's hitting the side, so you can actually bring it up here, use a swivel if you have to, or you can actually get a lot of leverage up here and break it loose. And what I'm going to do to get it out and put the new one in is actually lift the vehicle slightly, just a vehicle, and not the wheel, because I want tire clearance to get my arm up under the fender. So what I'll do is lift this little flap up, and some of you probably still have it, some of you don't. But if we can see, is that when you do that, sensor's right there. So make sure you don't get that hung up on anything. And there's the old one. Now before we continue, this goes into the exhaust manifold, and it came off with the O2 sensor, which is probably why it was loose. So make sure that's installed before you put the new O2 sensor in, which is the old one. Now, the new one, we will go up through there and install. So I'm just going to reach up in here, and the wiring harness is going to be the big issue because of how long it is. It's just going to keep getting in your way. So once I got it pretty close started, I'm going to fish that wiring harness back up to the top. Now I have it fished through the top. It's sitting on top, so hopefully it shouldn't get anything away and shouldn't get tangled up. Now if you got a second person, because I doubt your arms are long enough to do both, have someone else hold it while you get it started and tighten down. Once you got it tightened down by hand, then we can tighten it down. Now I got it hand tight. Just going to drop this back down in there. Around the wiring, over the sensor. I'm going to hold up here, make sure it don't get in the way while I tighten it down. And make sure you get it pretty good and tight. Now, one thing we're going to have to do here, we will have to reach down in here and see there's this tab here and there's another one down there. You can see just right above that bracket. It's got to pop in where the other one went, which will be the trick. And then We'll fish it around and over to the other side. Then let's come over here, plug it back in. Make sure it should be connected where it should be. Make sure ain't anything dangling where it's going to get hot and burn a wire. And that's it. Now it shows you that you can do this yourself. It's going to take a little time because that sensor over there is kind of a pain and hard to reach. And connecting it back in place can be hard too. You may have to go up through the fender well again. But you can do it yourself at home, save yourself a ton of time and money. Now, I hope this video proved helpful. As always, thanks for watching.